All right, welcome everyone to Actifio On-Tech for Thursday, the 21st. I'm Jay here with that Actifio, and I'm here with my buddy Jason.
Jason, what's going on? June 21st.
June 20th. What did I say? What month did I say?
You just said the 21st.
Ah, yes, there you go. June 21st.
It is my birthday month. I want to be
well, that's very true.
It's an important month.
And so, being the beer connoisseur that you are, Jason, why don't you share with the audience what we are sampling today?
All right. Well, first off, we do have our Actifio Orange Treehouse glasses, which we picked up at the brewery last week. So we're going with Steady Hoppin today from Wakefield Brewing in Miami. So when we were down at Data Driven, Miami, we were lucky enough to visit this brewery for a couple hours and able to pick up a few cans. So we thought, us being Actifio and Data Driven was there, we'd try this one out today. So it's a Northeast style India Pale Ale. Pretty cool artwork there. Looks like it's some gangsters in the hoopty. You can check it out there.
Zoom it in close so they can see it. Yeah,
pretty close there.
There you go. Nice.
So check this out. Try it. I actually had it when I was down there.
What was your verdict when you were there?
I don't remember. I had a few of them. It was a flight.
Late night hour.
No, it was in the middle of the day. It was a flight, so they kind of all get jumbled up in the mix of them anyway. Too. Get a little roll. It was on the airplane. Who knows what's in there? We'll check it out.
And our producer is opening one too.
Wait, what is he?
What is that? Show everyone.
That's not fair. That's a share there. What are you doing?
I might have some after.
You don't want to try this one?
He's having the really good stuff.
Yeah, producer is too good for our beer, I guess, huh? It smells good out of the can. I smell some orange out of the can. Let's see here. Good. Now we'll see, because last week you really liked the beer and I didn't, so we'll see what happens this week.
I know. Well, if it's one of these bitter, hoppy ones, that's not always my favorite, I have to say. So we'll see.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. It's okay. Not my fave.
I like it, but it was to be expected.
I know. It's just not my style. I'm a lightweight when it comes to the very hoppy beers. I fully admit that.
No, it's good. Nice. I like the nose. Nice orange nose to it, and some orange aftertaste as well. So I like it, and it fits the orange glasses. So
there you go.
All right, Jay. 4 topics. What are we talking about today first?
All right. What jumped out at me this week is I was just thinking about our conversation. Was it last week, week before, talking about AT&T Time Warner, and we had a conversation about how they acquired them and how that was passed by the Supreme Court.
Right.
And how it was interesting how we had content creators merging with content distributors, and what would that mean? There's obviously, we talked about Disney, other things going on there, but I thought was most interesting about that was that this week, and in fact today, AT&T announced a new streaming service called AT&T Watch.
Okay. Which
has a ton of different channels and sort of almost competes perhaps with their own offering called DirecTV Now, but it's more of an entry-level one. Interesting. It offers 31 channels. Here, if you can see it on here's our list from my printout. Can they see that? 31 channels are available on the service, with 6 more coming soon. And they charge $15 a month.
Well, that's not bad.
It's not bad. Sling TV, which is a competitor from Dish Network, goes for $20 a month. So it's a little cheaper.
Now with Sling, though, you can DVR things, right? Can you DVR with this, or are these shows on demand at all?
No, this is just a live streaming thing.
Just live stream? Okay, so not even any recording or DVR capabilities. Okay. Some interesting shows here. A lot of news-heavy ones, typically. And then we've got our things like TBS and TLC. So the Time Warner Network, obviously,
right.
there. And interesting. Okay. I'm not a cord cutter. Are you a cord cutter?
I am not, but I've thought about it.
Me too.
And my wife doesn't like this kind of thing, meaning if it's too confusing, she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah,
so too. I'm feeling like she wouldn't like it, but every time that bill shows up from my cable company, $200+ a month, I'm just thinking, really, there has to be a better way.
I'm the same way. I think that based on the channels that I watch, I could probably cut the cord. I just have to get a few different services. But honestly, I'm just too lazy to do it.
Cut the cord. It's been like 4 years we haven't had cable.
You haven't?
Yeah.
So do you have any of these services?
Netflix.
That's it?
That's it.
Just
so you're not a sports guy, because the big thing is
I
sports.
watch it live.
Yeah, that's what kills me.
That would kill me.
I'm a big, Pats fan.
Patriots, Bruins, Red
all
Sox,
that stuff.
Celtics.
can't watch it live.
You know that stuff. World Cup? Could you watch the World Cup? Because we were watching it today, right? Streaming live, but you had to enter your cable provider. So like,
defeats the purpose,
right? Yeah, I'm streaming it live, but I had to go through my cable provider. So yeah, there's all these weird hooks to it, huh?
Now, for the prep for the show, I was researching. I think you can watch it on DirecTV Now. I think, and the $35 a month is 60 channels, and they have ones where you can really crank it up. You know, you can get 100 channels for $70 a month or something.
That's your DirecTV Now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are options if you want to do it. That's what I was thinking.
There are options, and I know that the antennas nowadays that you get for your
exactly.
TVs are actually very high powered.
Right.
We're in the Boston metro area. We can get 50 channels with it. And I've thought about it. I've researched it, but
same.
It's hard to do it. So.
I know. I'm with you 100%. Yeah. So what do you got? What do you have on your list?
One thing I found interesting was that there's a new Blackberry phone coming out.
They're still around?
Well, that was my first thought. Exactly. I thought, wait a minute. I thought that company went away with the Dodo Bird. So apparently it hasn't. I guess Qualcomm owns them now or something like that, or they work with Qualcomm to get their chips. And apparently it is an upgraded version of the Key 1. This is called the Key 2. So I guess the Key 1 came out not too long ago. Once again, I thought, like I said, I think I had a BlackBerry back in the mid-2000s.
Right.
And it was, I mean, people loved it because of the keyboard, especially even in a corporate world, and a lot of corporations had it. But then they all switched over to the iPhone and Android, and it's kind of gone the way, like I said, I thought it was extinct. So interesting that they have it. It's coming out July 13th. It starts at $649.99.
Well, as high-end phones go, that's actually relatively inexpensive. A lot of these phones are expensive. Yeah, it's like $800 or $900 is what you're gonna get an S9.
It's an iPhone,
but not a big iPhone, I guess. So you're right. I mean, maybe for the small ones.
But it looks pretty neat. It's got kind of the same things you'd expect. It actually has a keyboard on it too. So here's a picture of it. I'd show you the picture of it, but it has a small mini keyboard with a big kind of screen. So it's got a smartphone type with a touch screen, then actual press button keyboard down at the bottom here. Let's see if we can show it here on the computer. Right there.
Now, see, I happen to be an Android guy, as you know, and so I did back in the day miss the move from a physical device like that with physical. I liked that, and in fact, I loved my BlackBerry at the time because while it didn't have all the smarts and fanciness that the iPhone had, it was really good for email, and the battery lasted forever, days. Whereas I feel like now we're all sort of tainted that you're lucky to get through one day with your phone, which is kind of lame.
But you're not going to switch back, right? Now you're used to the phone, right? You're used to
definitely not
that touchpad and the sense, coming back to you. So
one thing I had is interesting. That's sort of a mix of that is that BlackBerry actually publishes their own Android keyboard. And it's not publicly available, but you can get an app that will allow you to download their keyboard. And it actually was very highly rated for a while.
So if you want the QWERTY keyboard.
Yeah, you want their version of the soft keyboard, you can do it. It has a pretty cool way where you swipe up to get words. And I've used it for a while. I have it on my phone. It's pretty good.
You mentioned that.
Yeah.
So it'll be available at Best Buy and on Amazon. And it says that it's optimized for GSM providers. So
nice. So I'm sure you've pre-ordered and you will be there at 3 in the morning before release date on the 12th?
Definitely not. I love my... shameless plug. I love my Google Pixel 2 XL.
So do I.
And I will not be changing from it at all. All right, Jay, what's next?
So, it's interesting. You have car technology moving really fast. And, one of the newest areas you see, we all have electronic keys. That's kind of the norm. But what Tesla has done is they have this idea of not even a key anymore, even having a card, and then someday perhaps even just having on your phone via NFC. And so there was a group today called the Car Consortium that have a common methodology that's works across cars someday to set up and configure a digital NFC key on your phone. So imagine having no more car keys. It's all about having the phone in your pocket, and that's enough. I'm not sure if I'm sold on it. What do you think?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are using their phones for multiple purposes now, right? With the Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, put all your credit cards on there. So really, this is just the evolution of that.
Right, it is.
It could be interesting, I think, that for people who lose their keys a lot, or people who want that kind of all-in-one place to go, just have an app on your phone to unlock your car. it's interesting. I think if they could probably build more stuff into it as well. This is the first step. Put the key, then you can control the locks, right? So from remotely. So like, if you've got all the Google tools at home, you can turn on your lights beforehand.
Right.
You can use your Google Nest.
Right.
This is okay. You can lock your car doors if you forgot remotely. Right. Maybe you could actually incorporate a car starter into it as well, and those things. True. So I think it's a novel idea. I think it's an evolution of technology, and I don't really have a problem with it. I've said this before on this podcast that I am not really into putting personal stuff onto my technology. So like I don't have my credit cards on my phone or anything like that. So I probably wouldn't do it either. But like I said, I think a lot of people would really like this.
I was worried though that your phone could crash or your phone battery could die or you could drop it or something.
Yep, that's the
and then the problem is like, what do I do then? Like, how do I get in the car if I don't have a key?
Yeah.
Now, of course, they'll give you keys, but you're probably not going to carry it with you, right? At some point, you're just going to get used to having it.
Exactly. So you're right. That's the devil's advocate there for sure.
Hacking for theft.
I know, good point. You worry about is how secure is it really?
Agreed.
In the past, we've seen a lot of concerns about some of these smart car systems getting hacked. So hopefully this is more secure within a consortium and things, but you don't know.
It does. You're right. It does raise some questions as well. So I went kind of positive. You went kind of negative on that one. But I mean, I see both sides of the coin, right?
I love gadgets. I love it all. So I'm the kind of guy who would I'm the opposite of you. I love that. I've been a big fan. I've started using Google Pay a lot.
Yep.
I really like it.
Do you?
It's just great. I don't have to pull out my credit cards. I don't get my credit card number. I just literally just touch it. It just goes whoop and it's done. Nice. I know, not your thing, but I love it.
Hey, it's not all about me, Jay.
It's not all about you. That's right.
All right, last up, what we were talking about, Xbox. So a little bit of a follow-up plus a new thing. So if you remember, I think from last week as well, we talked about how Sony was blocking this cross-platform collaboration with Nintendo Switch for Fortnite. And we mentioned that Xbox does not have that limitation. And so I was looking through some websites today on something to talk about, and I saw actually co-branded marketing material with Microsoft and Nintendo on how they work together cross-platform on Fortnite.
Of course they did, yes.
So they are totally jumping onto this right now, totally capitalizing on the publicity, the negative publicity of Sony to say, hey, you know what, come over to us, because Sony is the leader. PS4 is by far the leader in console sales. So if Xbox and Nintendo can find a way to catch up and get some sales from everyone else, this is one way they're doing it. So smart on them as a marketer. I think it's a brilliant idea. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't do that. So kudos to them.
Seems dumb by Nintendo. They've got to have their reasons, but I just can't. I'm sorry,
Sony. Yes,
seems
agreed.
Crazy by them, but they look really bad.
But they haven't come out and said the reason why. They offered
strange.
some lame duck excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
They're sticking with it right now. The silence is deafening on the Sony.
I know.
Now, to follow that up, though, a little negative press for Xbox is that, I don't know, a while ago, whatever it was, they promised that you would get virtual reality on Xbox One. And recently, as of yesterday or today, they have actually pulled back and said, no, we're not going to do any virtual reality on Xbox One anymore. And I know that in the Sony space that they've gotten a lot of pickup with their VR tools. I forget the name of it.
Right, it's a headset of some sort, I think.
Yeah, the VR headset. And they've got a lot of take-up on that in sales from that. So it's an interesting move by Xbox and Microsoft. I'm wondering, with Microsoft investing in all these next-gen technologies, who do they just buy?
Microsoft?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
They just bought someone, Gio. Who did they just buy?
I'm not sure. It doesn't come to mind. I can Google it.
Yeah, Google it while we're talking. The beauty of off-air.
Yeah, exactly.
Come
on, producer.
But anyway, they've been investing in all these AI and all these other businesses that have been very successful for Microsoft. We've seen it with the stock price. So it's interesting why they wouldn't want to invest in this area.
Well, I mean, maybe they've come to the realization that in order to do effective VR, they need more power in the platform. There's a lot of pixels you need to push to do high-quality VR. And maybe they underestimated that somehow. I don't know. Or maybe, to your point, it's about a money grab. Like, if you want that, you're going to have to get the Xbox next, whatever that is, the next one.
It could be. It could be, right? So maybe you're right. The computing power on the Xbox One, I don't know the specs of it.
Like GitHub?
Yeah, they bought GitHub. That's it.
Course.
Yeah, so, like I said, they're making all these acquisitions in these kind of next-gen things, so it's interesting they would do. Now, maybe, like you said, it's just because the current technology, it's a little older. I mean, Xbox One is, 1-2 years old, something like that.
More than that, too.
More than that.
More than that. But did you know that Microsoft has acquired 217 companies?
It doesn't surprise me. I didn't know that either.
Since, 87?
It's amazing. So many.
87.
Yeah. So maybe it's stay tuned and wait till the next version of Xbox to get your VR.
I find VR interesting, though, because I am hearing about it more and more. Obviously, the context of video games is one, but even you see it now sometimes in TV. Like, you hear sometimes they're saying, oh, the NBA Finals, they're being broadcast in VR. Like, I've
what
seen
does that even
people...
mean?
I don't know, and how do you do that? Like,
right?
like do you, I guess...
Your courtside seats there or something?
I know!
Like that?
And then what kind of signal and device and that kind of stuff do you need? Like, if you had the PS4,
like
could you do that? I have no idea, but I think it's interesting, but it feels very, very bleeding edge, and it feels like there's not necessarily a lot of standards. I could be wrong, but like, to your point, like, none of us can point out how you do that. So it feels like that's kind of part of the problem. Like, if you really want VR, you should be able to say, well, here's what you do, and here's how you do it, and yet all of us are like, I don't know. Maybe over the internet?
But
must be.
I don't know. But I'm surprised you don't know more because, as you just said, you're a bleeding edge guy. You don't have any VR at home?
You just said it.
I know, but I do not have any VR at home currently.
Yeah, it's VR if you don't have the experience with it.
Right, I do not.
I don't have any.
Part of it is that today, a lot of the VR stuff I was looking at, you need, back to your point about the Xbox, you need significant computer hardware.
Yeah.
Right? Latest, Core i7, massive video cards. And while I'm a techie, I don't upgrade my computer hardware all that much. I feel like I do a lot of surfing on the web and Word docs and things I don't need, like the $1,500 personal computer.
Right.
And if I'm going to spend money, $1,500 on something, it's probably not going to be that.
Yeah.
So...
What about one of your fancy servers you got running in the basement?
So I'm big into fanless PCs, yeah, but those are like running Celerons. Those are not high-end things. In fact, I bought them largely from China for nothing, which is, you can buy this stuff directly and they'll ship it to you for like $200 for a tiny little thing that's really power efficient, that runs hypervisors and virtual machines. But again, it will never work for VR. It's not powerful enough.
Yeah, it's not beefy enough.
So that's back to your problem. Like, it's not just the headset now, but then you have to buy this massive computer, and it's like,
Yep.
I got more important things to worry about.
Does your TV need to support VR? Like, I don't know.
It's got to be that. I think the high-end ones, I think, have the built-in displays in them.
Do they?
So you need to, really good resolution and all that stuff.
Yep.
So that's, I think, the interesting question of VR. And then you wonder, is it going to be? You think it has to be real at some point, but when and what does that look like? Or you think of the holodeck from Star Trek. Do you remember the holodeck?
Not a Star Trek guy, Jay. Star Wars.
Oh, I lost. Well, the holodeck was a place where you'd go, and this reminds me of VR. We'd go into this place and say, I remember in one of the episodes, I wish I was in a bar in the Midwest, with cowboys and Indians back in the day. And it like does it. And there's like people, and they're wandering around, and you're like literally in this room that is matching that.
It's like a simulation room.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. Fully 3D.
Gotcha.
So I guess that's the next iteration of VR without the headset.
Could be. I would not be surprised if that happened, or if they haven't already been building it.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
So, cool. And by the way, on that techie thing, I don't even have a PS4. I only have a PS3. So I'm way behind.
Well, my kids have an Xbox One, and we have a Wii as well. But the Wii has been pushed aside by the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And they're into Fortnite, which I find really annoying.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. So eventually I'll get the PS4. I'll take donations if anyone wants to. If you got one lying around, you're not using it.
There you go.
I do want to play Final Fantasy 15, the new God of War. It's going to be the new Last of Us. Like, these are all games that I played on the Sony platform. I'm a big PlayStation guy, so all those exclusive ones I love to play. But I just haven't...
You got to be a good example for your children, though, young man.
That's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I try. I don't know if it's working, but I try.
Not sure our producer agrees, but that's okay.
Well, we could talk about him all day, too.
Don't even.
Cool. All right.
All right.
So that's it for today.
Yep.
A little bit of a shorter one, but... we appreciate everyone watching. If you have any feedback, please come hit us up or over YouTube at our email addresses, or come by us, come by where we sit at our desks in Waltham. So with that,
see you, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Take
care.
Have a good one.
Bye.